Sydney FC huddling up. Courtney Vine there at the edge of the pack. No doubt looking to add to her 2 goals so far this season, including the goal in the 1-1 draw against Brisbane Roar last weekend. A game where Sydney FC were definitely challenged by the Roar. And trying to stop Courtney Vine at the centre of that defence will be Rebecca Lake, who actually played in the New South Wales NPL over winter. So she's no stranger to Sydney. And looking to step up next to Mackenzie Barry at the heart of that Wellington Phoenix defence. How much pressure will Courtney Vine put them under today? So Sydney FC in the blue, Wellington Phoenix in the yellow. Good contrast in colours. And it's going to be Sydney FC attacking the right of your screens. As round 10 of the Liberty A-League continues, we had an 8-goal thriller on your Thursday. What is in store on Friday as this one kicks off? And Teresa Polias, got to say that last season when Wellington came to Sydney, they would go on to win the Wooden Spoon. Sydney FC would go on to finish top, and yet it was Wellington who, for the first time in 4 attempts, were able to beat Sydney FC, so they at least have happy memories of playing against this opposition in this city.
They do, but it's a very different Wellington outfit this season that Sydney are coming up against, and very different place that Sydney are in at the moment on the ladder. So I've been waiting for this clash. It's going to be a good one.
Sydney FC will play their 2 games in hand in January, so they'll be all caught up by about game 13 or 14. Today's game 10 for the Phoenix, game 8 for Sydney. So due to going away to Uzbekistan for the AFC Women's Club Championship, they've had those 2 games in hand sitting next to their name. And it does mean if they win a game like today, Teresa, they remain in the race for the title. The ladder is a little deceptive due to the number of games in hand that they do have.
It really is, Teo, but games like this, you need to get the 3 points to take that pressure off.
A little bit of a shaky giveaway, and thus a foul from Kate Taylor on 18 Keane, who will be keen to make an impression today as she starts for Sydney FC in the absence of Shay Connors with a broken foot and Fiona Wirtz with a knee injury that is still being assessed by the club. A couple of their off-season recruits waylaid, and it's a great chance for the youngster Keane, who herself is only just making her way back to 100% from an ACL rehab. Here's the subsequent free kick, and it's taken sideways. Mackenzie Hawkesby trying to get an early involvement, and that's not the touch that she would have been hoping for there as the free kick comes to little.
Well, she hasn't had much game time of late, Mackenzie Hawkesby, so I am surprised to see her thrown into the mix. But look, she must be showing good fitness levels at training, and you know she's got that skill behind her, so Ante's backed her out there.
Wellington looking to build for the first time. Main on the ball, who we highlighted pre-game as a vital part of the Wellington Phoenix. Mariana Speckmeyer now, the Venezuela international. And the Phoenix are happy to consolidate possession. But that's a shaky pass for Rebecca Lake to have to deal with, and she's done so with great composure and turns defence into attack, albeit briefly. Macy Fraser out to the right flank now. And the ball is clipped in by Hayley Davidson. Shallow clearance by Tumeth. And then Zara Kruger with a bit of a ponderous touch of the ball. Nearly gifted it back to Wellington. And you can see them hunting the ball here, the Phoenix. And they're going to prevail with possession. Annalie Longo back out to Davidson. Now clipped on by Hope Breslin. And the Phoenix advance down the wing. Breslin cuts it inside. Great chance for Longo. Turned and shot, and it was blocked away in the blink of an eye. And now Courtney Vine can counter. Listen to the crowd rise. You know when Courtney Vine's on the ball at a Sydney FC game. Plays it through to 18 Keane. And then the attempt to veer and change direction. Couldn't outfox Mackenzie Barry. And then there's a collision on the way out. But I don't think it's going to be a foul. Still end-to-end stuff, and both teams showing what they're capable of.
Absolutely, and that's what the Wellington Phoenix will have to look out for today in transition. They gave the ball away there, and Courtney Vine was away. 18 Keane a bit in 2 minds there as to what to do, but Mackenzie Barry does really well there.
It was a decent chance for the Phoenix down at their end as well. This is Jordan Thompson, the American, starting for the first time today. Very curiously left as an unused sub in the last 2 matches. having arrived mid-season as an injury replacement for Nat Tobin. You see Kirsty Fenton making a run here. Zara Kruger's in the pocket, but the shot is shut down immediately. Vine, well, just caught on her heels on that occasion, and the ball is scrambled away. Very bright first 5 minutes, and, well, Zara Kruger just couldn't get the feet right to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's off that trademark Fenton steamrolling through there, but just couldn't get that shot away on time.
Game 18 today for 17-year-old Zara Kruger, still yet to find the back of the net in an A-League women's match. Ante Juric, the coach, has got a few headaches to deal with. We have quite the list of Sydney FC players out injured at the moment. They've been without Lucy Johnson for a number of weeks ever since she got injured. Shay Connors, broken foot. Fiona Wirtz, a knee concern. Nat Tobin out for the season with an ACL. It's been faced with challenges that really do test the depth, but also your club's train-ons and knowledge of who could be signed on a short-term basis. And you talk about Mackenzie Hawkesby coming in and playing immediately. I guess there's that element of, if she's been training in a Women's Super League environment, you'd hope that she's fit, if not completely match fit.
Look, if you know Mackenzie Hawkesby, she's always fit. So I think it's just a matter of her getting some minutes in and building that game fitness, that match fitness that's always a little bit different. But yeah, look, Ante's had a few reshuffles and still, I think, settling on his starting 11. I don't think he's really settled on it at this point.
Ball is there to be won in midfield, and Hawkesby puts a calming foot on the ball. Back to Thompson at the centre of defence, attempting to advance the ball, but Zara Kruger wants to feed it back to the defence again. And then that pass misses Kirsty Fenton over on the left, so a little ragged. Paul Temple, the Wellington Phoenix coach, his first time going up against Sydney FC. Sydney had won quite comfortably the first 3 head-to-heads between these teams, including 9 goals for and none conceded before the Wellington away day got the better of them in March earlier this year. A couple of 5-0s in there as well. So Sydney FC, when they've got rolling against the Phoenix in the past, they've been able to go on and make it count, as Courtney Vine here wants an early sider. So many fans today will have come purely to watch Courtney Vine, and I'm sure the rest of the fare on offer and the other players in the game will be little things that Courtney might be the hook, but you just never know who they might fall in love with as a result of coming along to watch today, T.
Exactly right. There's plenty of quality out there, but Courtney Vine, she's just dangerous at any moment, so they've got to watch her at all times.
Of course, this is the competition where Matildas are made, the Liberty A-League. Courtney Vine, just one of many. Speaking of where they're made, Shay Holman recently away on international duty with the young Matildas, the under-20 national team. Bit of a risky pass here from Fenton, and Speckmeyer was nearly away. Charlotte McLean was the emergency clean-up on that occasion, and Sydney FC will look to advance forward here through Tori Chimeth. Hawkesby wants the ball, and the pass was a little under-hit. Main takes possession for the Phoenix. And as we see there, shoulder to shoulder against Hawkesby. Like looking in a mirror, I reckon, those two, when it comes to their footballing style. It's amazing how much Emma Main has reminded me of Mackenzie Hawkesby through the first half of the season so far. And I guess it's fitting that they get to really duel against each other this afternoon.
It's going to be fantastic, Teo. We just got a glimpse of that, and Emma Main getting the better of Mackenzie Hawkesby there. And Macca knows that, and I think she'll want to make amends for that later in the game.
Here's Annalie Longo, now Speckmeyer. Phoenix known for their short, incisive passing and ability to string together long chains of passes and protect the ball. Here's Davidson breaking through the right. Thompson able to hold her up. The cut back in for Breslin. Referee has to take evasive action. And that just interrupted Macy Fraser there, who was a little frustrated that she didn't get a clean touch of the ball.
we can see quite clearly Wellington are trying to set their style in on this game and play the way that Paul Temple wants them to play.
And what it needs is a ball-winning midfielder for Sydney, just to stop Wellington passing rings around them, turn it into a combative situation. Because once the Phoenix get going, they can do it to anyone. And as you see here, they're almost up to 60% through the first 10 minutes.
They are a more possession-based team this season, the Phoenix, so a very different side to what Sydney came up against in seasons past.
Long ball here, though, gives Jada Wyman a touch. Jada Wyman at times can be forgiven for putting the feet up in goal, such as the protection she gets from her defence in midfield. But I think coming into today, the Phoenix have so many attacking threats, and again, being a ball-dominant team, we're going to see Jada have to work perhaps a bit more than is normal. With that said, it took almost 10 minutes for her to touch the ball once. Here's Mackenzie Barry going to work in defence, out-muscling 18 Keane.
We're certainly seeing a physical game so far, Teo. Within the laws of the game, it's good to see.
Well, both teams want to assert themselves on the contest. Sydney's match against Brisbane, the 1-1 draw last Friday, was a really interesting tactical battle. Both teams had long spells in control of the game. And even though Brisbane are currently on an 8-game winless run, they looked like a far better team than that against Sydney last week. However, they went and conceded 5 to Melbourne City yesterday, losing 5-3. So maybe back to the drawing board defensively. Here's Princess Abeni with a window of opportunity, picking the pocket of Davidson. Now Hawkesby spins back to Abeni. And Princess Abeni, a forcefully hit cross, which can't find a teammate.
Yeah, just a bit of a forced release there from Abeni. She certainly had some better options around her there. Perhaps a little bit of frustration.
It is not a hot day in Sydney. It's only 24 degrees, but 80% humidity. You can see a number of the players, they're starting to glow or just flat out sweat already. And it's not so much the heat, it's the humidity, which is going to be a factor in that. It's probably the first thing I think you mentioned to me, T, when you arrived today in the commentary box.
I certainly did, Teo, and it's that humidity that just makes it feel like you're suffocating a bit. So, yeah, it's difficult.
Here's Fraser with space to break into. Speckmeyer going up against McLean, who took the brunt of the contact, was able to halt the run of Speckmeyer. And now looping the ball forward, and perhaps Breslin giving herself up as offside there. Kruger, ambitious pass, and then sliced away. Hayley Davidson, who, well, let's have another look at this clash here. No foul, T, just good fair bump between two players.
Yeah, I don't see a foul in that at all.
It's just saying that in pre-game, Hayley Davidson, right at the end of warm-ups, went down holding her ankle. The trainer went over to have a quick word, but thankfully no need to change the team sheet. Davidson was able to walk off under her own steam, but just a late scare in the warm-ups for the Wellington Phoenix. Chimeth. Now Shea Holman. Thompson. See immediately being closed down by Breslin. Now Fenton over on the left. Takes on Longo, not able to make any progress. Holman. Only succeeded in picking out Foster with the crossfield pass. Hawkesby now working with 18 Keane. Hawkesby looking for Courtney Vine. Well-measured pass. Vine jags back out of the penalty area. Hawkesby following up, making space on the spin. And the evasiveness there of Mackenzie Hawkesby on show.
Well, there you go. Teos, it's as if she's never left. So, a really good play here from Hawkesby. The pass out to Vine over the top was perfect. And she continued her run as she does. And that's what Mackenzie does best. She never stops running. She makes critical forward runs.
So, first corner of the game after that deflected shot. Kruger on corner taking duties in at the near post. Davidson heads away. Fraser, the ball not quite sitting for her. Thompson. Collected cleverly by Fraser to Breslin. Now the American weaving through the right flank. Longo. Saw out of the corner of the eye Emma Main with the chance to break. Intercepted by McLean. Phoenix aggressive passing, trying to force the issue here and move forward. Sydney FC able to intercept Keane, hoping for Vine. And Brianna Edwards out, getting a touch. Last played on November 4th against Brisbane, so she's been waiting for a good 6 weeks for another chance to play in the Liberty A-League with Riley Foster, the #1 keeper. But with 17 appearances last year, certainly no stranger to the #1 gloves.
Well, that was really good goalkeeping by Bri Edwards there. She had to time that to perfection there with Vine coming through there, but does really, really well.
Of course, it's worth remembering that Lily Allfeld, who's been out for the best part of 2 seasons now with the back problems, no doubt watching on her former deputy Bri Edwards today. Here goes Sydney through the left. Hawkesby! Oh, that would have been quite the reintroduction, but it just kept rising. But it has not taken Mackenzie Hawkesby long for her to stamp herself right back onto a Liberty A-League game.
Look, it's incredible to see. Once again, Mackenzie Hawkesby continues that run. Great vision. You can see her getting her head up as she's running, takes on her defender and goes for it. And she's going to get better and better as the game goes on with these moments.
It's going to be quite a lesson for Kate Taylor as well, who's moved out of centre-back to play midfield this season. But there aren't too many midfielders with the engine and the endurance of Hawkesby that just make you really work for so much of the game.
Exactly, and it could be anyone, Teo, because she likes to wander all over the pitch.
Phoenix fans not quite full-voiced yet. I'm sure they'll have some chants and songs that they'll go to as the game continues. Good little travelling contingent for the doubleheader today. Of course, some of them are based in Australia as well, just happen to be Wellington Phoenix fans. Chimeth going for distance with the throw. Keane nods at central. Gets another chance to try and move the ball forward. Hawkesby. 18 Keane. And clipped away from Hawkesby in the end. Fenton. Combination 1-2 is going to work out here for Fenton to advance. What's the shot like on the right foot? Deflected wide. Fenton has 1 this season. Just 2 career goals for the nominal left back, but she's already shown a willingness to get forward today.
She has, and she's so hard to contain. Look at her enter this dangerous area. What a fantastic place to shoot from, but it was well blocked by the Phoenix.
So second corner of the game, 1 from each side now for Sydney. This one an outswinger, and Fenton was rising in the air. So here's the stat, Teresa. 5 of Wellington's 15 goals this season have come from headers. Sydney are yet to concede from a header, and Kirsty Fenton is one of the big reasons that they do not concede aerial goals.
That's exactly right, and she also goes for them attacking wise as well, so huge aerial threat for Sydney FC,
who are just starting to get on top of general play. We saw Phoenix had the possession count. We've got the stats so far of who's getting on top in the air. Can the Phoenix reassert their passing game, though, after a good little 3 or 4 minute spell for Sydney FC? Not with that pass. Chimeth intercepts, and Courtney Vine able to wheel onto the ball, but not on the same wavelength as 18 Keane. And the front three working out a bit of cohesion has been something that Sydney FC have been missing so far this season.
They have missed that a little bit. There are a lot of new players in the squad, so that naturally does occur, but we're lucky to have a longer season now where they can work on that, and they're working really hard to try and build that chemistry.
McLean. Pass finds its way to Keane, who's trying to nod it to her own advantage. Vine comes in. It was a gang tackle there on Mackenzie Barry, and the referee's whistle does come to the aid of the senior international centre-back.
It's 18 Keane once again, and yeah, she got a good yank of Mackenzie Barry's jersey there, and It's a definite foul there.
I feel like Beck Mackey needs eyes in the back of her head today. You made a point of mentioning that it was a physical game, T, and it seems as though neither team is too afraid of an indiscriminate grab of the shirt or just trying to get even the slightest advantage in the physical battle out there.
Well, that's right. It's nothing too malicious at this stage, and hopefully it doesn't turn malicious, but it's good to see.
Underlapping run from Fenton. The cutback is on for Keane. Cleared off the line. It wasn't the fastest moving shot, and that allowed the body position to be spot on there from Foster to save the day for the Phoenix and keep the scoreline at 0-0.
Well, it's a fantastic goal line save from Foster there, and good decision making in the box here from Fenton, who makes that storming run again, and great cutback. Fantastic play by both teams.
Well, Foster, the goalkeeper's not in the game today, but Foster, the defender, very much is, and it's thanks to her that the scoreline is 0-0. Kirsty Fenton getting down that left side is causing all sorts of headaches for the Phoenix now. Can Princess Abini capitalise, given she is playing on the left wing out there? A reset at the centre of defence. Thompson. And this time the pass has a little too much on it, and that will run out for a goal kick. Let's have another look.
Well, here once again, great vision by Fenton to cut that back to 18 Keane, and that goal line save.
In that situation though, T, you've got to get your body position right. You can so easily slice it in for an own goal.
Oh, it's very, very difficult, those goal line saves, especially when you're tracking back towards the goal. I've myself scored an own goal doing just that, so really good defensive work from Foster.
Of course, another senior Kiwi international, the 24-year-old. Abini wins the header, but straight to Lake. Main, really clever turn, got the better of Thompson, and now has Holman for company as well, and we're going to see the first card of the game. Jordan Thompson, on the occasion of her first Sydney FC start, the American, goes into the book.
Well, this is brilliant play from Emma Main here. She's not the largest player going around, but the way she uses her body, her balance is fantastic. She takes off, draws in two defenders, and earns a foul and a yellow card to the opposition. Great play. Right
call for a booking?
Yes, absolutely.
First of the game. Jordan Thompson will have to walk the tightrope for a good 3/4 of the match, should she play the full 90. So a mid-range set piece here. And Wellington Phoenix, what are they cooking up? Breslin drops the ball on the penalty spot, headed away by Fenton as far as Macy Fraser. Was able to step out of traffic and got a shot in, but not the fastest moving shot. And Jada Wyman picks the ball up.
Yeah, just a rushed shot there by Speckmeyer, and she couldn't get enough on that to challenge Wyman.
And now Sydney FC on the counter-attack, end-to-end in the blink of an eye. Courtney Vine. And now the foul comes in from Tumeth. No foul. Play continues. Speckmeyer. And the ball finds its way out.
There's that shot from Speckmeyer. A lot of bodies in the way there, and Fraser, apologies, but yeah, lot to get through there, and a rushed shot in the end.
Wellington Phoenix have already been to the other primary stadium in Sydney this season, Combank. They defeated Western Sydney Wanderers 3-0 there, hoping to tick Allianz off the list as well. It's the first time they've played here at this venue in the A-League Women's. Here's Charlotte McLean. Interception comes from Speckmeyer. And a bit of a tentative touch there from Breslin, but back to the goalkeeper Edwards. And now Sydney FC pressing, winning the ball from the pass by Lake. Princess Abini looking to punish. Abini, well, maybe didn't know that Davidson was cutting in from the blind side there. Went left when perhaps right was the answer at the top of the box. And the Phoenix are able to scramble and clear their lines, albeit briefly. Vine. veering central. Decision time with the pass, and it's intercepted by Fraser, but coming back through is Kruger.
Wellington just getting caught in their back third here.
And a smart little run out to the right by Kruger, but attracted a crowd. And the Phoenix with a clever little blind pass there by Speckmeyer to Foster. Well, this is the trust in each other. This is an attempt to play it out from the back at least, but again, they remain trapped in their defensive half.
You got to admire the fact they stick to their principles, but at times you got to change things up. Sydney are pressing. They're trying to press goal side and cause a counter attack, which is working at the moment.
And the ball driven out into touch again. Still in the defensive half, but they've gained another 10 metres or so here. Chance to try and move the defensive line up. Possession has really balanced back out, showing how Sydney have got themselves more or less on top in general play, you'd have to say, at this point of the match. Kirsty Fenton wins possession away. Is it third time lucky as Fenton marauds forward? And even though it found a way under the defender, it was a little too close to the goalkeeper.
Just that slight hesitation from Fenton there, and Wellington were able to put the tackle in here, but she knew she had Hawkesby overlapping to her left and opted for the shot in the end.
And that's learning decision-making, isn't it? A more decisive player might have just taken the shot rather than wait for the run of a teammate.
Look, I've got to hand it to Fenton. She's really switched on today and making things happen out there. But, yeah, it's a learning curve there in terms of decisions around that area. You don't have the time you do further down the pitch.
Worth remembering, Fenton is only 20 years old, doesn't turn 21 until September of next year. Caught offside on this occasion, though. Youngster from Newcastle originally. Now in her second season in Sky Blue.
She's definitely come in leaps and bounds since making that move. And she'll continue to do so.
Sydney FC fans finding their voice down there behind the goal at the left of your screen. Macy Fraser, oh, great little shimmy to lose Shea Holman in midfield, but then went for the outside of the foot pass. Couldn't quite find Speckmeyer with that ball. Hawkesby, Keane, knocked it into her own standing leg. Barry, now Main. Fraser. Just under hit the pass. And the ball is cleared out. I mean, the teams both warm up on the surface tee, but there have been quite a few under-hit passes on a lush surface so far today.
Yeah, and the catchphrase from the coaches, there's no excuses on a beautiful carpet of a pitch that Allianz Stadium has.
Fraser here finds Kate Taylor, who's stepping around a number of blue shirts. It's a wall of Sydney FC players at the moment, and hard to find a way through. Hawkesby will look to release Courtney Vine. And this is where Vine can be so dangerous, running at a defender isolated one-on-one. Look at the burst of acceleration from Courtney Vine. Is there a teammate to cut back to, though? Keane calls for the ball. Mackenzie Barry clips it away. And Vine showing that elite speed there. A real blaze of acceleration, but not able to find the pass. Holman honing straight in on Courtney Vine there, but ball is cleared. Now Kruger. And that one is not to Vine's advantage, but Foster, safety first, goes to the touchline.
Here's that really well-timed pass again from Mackenzie Hawkesby to Courtney Vine. The chemistry those two have is incredible, but that burst of pace is just... You just cannot match that. It's very hard to contain there.
Quick shot from Abini goes out for a corner. Well, Michaela Foster was almost shaking her head in disbelief as Courtney Vine went bursting past her on that one. Sydney working hard down in attack. Can they turn all this territory into a goal? Zara Kruger remains on corner taking duty. Hangs this one high beyond the far post. Lake up for the header. A hard one header. Got a fairly solid body check. No foul. Play continues. And there will be a free kick here, though. And Thompson, the one player on the pitch with the yellow card, knocks over Macy Fraser. Beck Mackey here, perhaps giving Jordan Thompson a warning, saying you are on a yellow. Just be careful with the fouls as Wellington try to counter-attack. Certainly saw Fraser's thoughts on the contact there.
Yeah, Fraser definitely wasn't happy with that one, but I think a foul was handy there for the Phoenix.
Lake. Fraser is really starting to hone that little skip outside of the right foot pass to try and bend it around a player in midfield. Speckmeyer, bit of trickery of her own. Now Longo. Sees a cluster of blue shirts, tries to find a teammate in Speckmeyer. Fenton wins the header away. Emma Main was the one challenging her for the ball. Danger not yet averted. Fraser drops the shoulder. Quick 1-2 at the edge of the box. And again, just no willingness to use the left foot there. Tried to brute force it through with the right foot instead. And now Sydney can counter. Keane was calling for the releasing pass, and it's blocked away by Foster.
Yeah, just in and around that front third, Wellington opting for lower percentage type techniques, as we saw from Fraser when it comes out here. She opted for that outside of the foot pass. If she used the left foot, it's more of a high percentage pass and more likely to come off there.
Half an hour gone, scoreless, but not for a lack of trying from both teams. Taylor. Can't find a teammate, and Sydney FC will counter. Abini. Intercepted by Lake. Now Main from wide on the right. Looks up at Kirsty Fenton, who's been causing trouble in the other direction. So Wellington trying to keep her defensively accountable. There's a slip rather than a foul. Breslin getting up with no protests. Perhaps just lost her footing at the key moment. Sydney FC trying to clear out of their defensive half. Courtney Vine back to help out, but they haven't got it away. Speckmeyer. And now Longo. The veteran Kiwi buzzing around the edge of the box. Speckmeyer left the ball behind. And now Vine starting from deep in the defensive half. Princess Abini is a lone hand up top. Abini tries to lob the keeper from distance. Oh, that would have been spectacular. Princess Abini could not bring it down.
Well, why not from that position? It was definitely on. Had to be perfect. She had a good go of it. No one else in the box at that stage. So it was actually a clever decision from Abini. Just didn't execute it as she would have liked, obviously.
And Bree Edwards wasn't to know where that ball was going. She just went leaping in hope. Fortunately for the Phoenix, it went high and wide in the end. Longo, clever, able to outfox a couple of younger opponents and keep the ball for Wellington. Fraser, not quite able to do the same, ran out of space against the line. Let's have another look at this Abini attempt. Oh, this would have been an amazing goal.
You can see how open that goal was, and she knew it. Just put a little bit too much on it.
4 appearances against the Phoenix, but yet to find the back of the net against them, Princess Abini. So today's match number 5 for her against this opponent. Here's Vine. Has Hawkesby. Hawkesby! Side netting. Half the ground thought that one was in. But it's a rueful shake of the head from Mackenzie Hawkesby.
Well, I mean, the chemistry between her and Courtney Vine is just so dangerous. 18 Keane playing out Vine here, and a beautifully timed pass for Vine. Little wide for Hawkesby there, but she's certainly inching closer.
Really hard to twist that back towards the target, isn't it?
Very much so.
Goal kick is headed on by Taylor. Thompson, firm half volley. Foster still guarding Courtney Vine. Taylor and the Phoenix just starved of passing options to get the ball out of their defence at the moment. Throw-in might help them, though.
Yeah, Sydney have worked out the press at the moment, and it's making it very hard for the Phoenix to get out of those tight situations that we often see them get out of with ease.
I feel like we're going to learn a lot about Paul Temple as an A-League women's coach today. Of course, he's made quite the splash in his first season in charge, winning Manager of the Month for November. Speckmeyer. Chimeth with a block. Foster puts it back into a duel here between Vine and Speckmeyer. And Sydney FC get the decision. So, Teresa, do we have an injury concern here for Brianna Edwards?
Well, looking like she's twinged something there after that goal kick, so...
Seems pretty calm at the moment, but just that raised right arm was a worry. Ante Juric and Beck Mackey are getting into a heated conversation here. I wonder what's upset the Sydney FC coach. Can't quite eavesdrop as we normally would, and he's going to get a yellow card for his trouble.
Well, you don't often see Ante so animated towards the refs. So obviously, something's upset him on that sideline, but he's earned himself a card for it.
They seem to be arguing about maybe something to do with putting the ball out one way or the other. Anyway, the moment's passed. It's all smiles for the ref. All smiles for Ante as well. And clearly his bench is amused about it. So maybe there's an element of arguing for the next call. Who knows?
Well, he just spotted himself in the spotlight, and he's not a huge fan of that. So little wry smile there.
Back to Edwards. Let's watch the distribution here. Looks as though she is okay for now, which is good news. Wellington's backup keeper, Amy Danielli, is 18 years old, yet to debut. She's played for Auckland United in the New Zealand National League. Edwards here with a pass that finds Mackenzie Barry. And Speckmeyer went to ground under the challenge of Chimeth, but no whistle was forthcoming. It's a live ball at the feet of Chimeth. And now Vine. Trying to twist and turn, and Speckmeyer dusted herself off, got back into the fray, and was able to win possession initially. Hawkesby making it difficult for the Phoenix. Longo trying to release Davidson, and maybe now Wellington are away. Main, Breslin, all that the pass to the advantage of Davidson, but things just decelerate for now. And Sydney have got their midfield and defence back set. Breslin stuck in a show of strength against Fenton. Taylor keeps it moving through midfield. Lake. Dangerous, having to lunge Lake there after being caught out. Play continues. And eventually it goes out for a goal kick. Sydney FC players all looking to the ref saying, was there a foul there committed by Rebecca Lake? Not the case.
Look, I think a bit's been let go both ways. Saw the push, the shove in the back from Chimeth earlier.
Lake's issue there is that she actually got under the foot of Princess Abini, who ended up treading on her ankle.
Well, I think there was a fair shout for that one, but not given, so play must continue.
Yeah, Beck Mackey, for now, putting the whistle away, letting the players sort it out amongst themselves. Here's Abini. And given away, Phoenix can consolidate. Macy Fraser just coming deep to get a touch of the ball. Re-engage with the speed of the game at the moment. And she's trying to drive the pace here with that pass to Davidson. Main able to keep it in, but only briefly. Look at the shot count. 19 total, very much skewed Sydney FC's way. If anything, you'd feel like Wellington would be under more pressure, but for 16 total shots, they've amassed 0.89 XG so far, because only one of those 16 is on target. So a lot of peppering, not much precision, at least not yet.
And it's from that high press from Sydney as well, winning it up high and trying to get some shots away.
Here's the chance now for the Phoenix, and the shot sliding low from Fraser. And easy pickings in the end for Jada Wyman. Sydney FC again unhappy with the pile-up of bodies in the build-up. Courtney Vine in particular. Play continues though. Fraser with a couple of long-distance attempts that haven't really troubled Jada Wyman so far.
Yeah, they have resorted to some long-distance attempts, and I guess that comes out of frustration in that final third, not hitting the desired pass or not choosing the best decision.
Free kick here, and the Phoenix, well, they'll build again. Here's another look at the Macy Fraser attempt. And so Sydney FC were blowing up about that contact there from Speckmeyer on Courtney Vine. And, well, there's letting the players sort it out and putting the whistle away, and then there's missing the obvious.
Yeah, look, that was definitely missing the obvious there. That's a foul if I ever saw one there.
5 minutes of regulation until half-time. Will we get a goal to break the deadlock in what is becoming an increasingly competitive game between these two teams? Here's Hawkesby on the tight angle, and it's blocked away. Foster at the very last puts it behind for a corner. And Hawkesby fancied herself on the left foot there. Another corner kick coming up for Sydney FC.
Well, Foster has her work cut out for her today. She's putting in a great shift, though. Does well to cover there.
I think the last thing Michaela Foster wants to see is Hawkesby popping up on the right. She's had her hands full with Courtney Vine for the entire first half. Now Hawkesby as well. Here comes the corner. Falls in the area. Fraser not quite away just yet. Fenton backtracking. Speckmeyer. And Speckmeyer just grabs another 15 metres as she puts the ball out.
I mean, it's overwhelming watching those two run riot, let alone having to deal with it out there.
Keane emerges out of a cluster of Wellington players. Kruger. Princess Abini wasn't spreading on that occasion. It tucked in rather than got wide, and so the ball tails out for a throw here. Macy Fraser has goals so far this season against Western Sydney and Western United. Kate Taylor really deferred to Breslin, who maybe wasn't expecting that pass. Things work out for Wellington though. Barry to Foster. Steps away from Courtney Vine.
Sydney trying to stop Wellington switching that ball. When Wellington are able to switch the ball out to the other side, they're able to get going forward and into that final third.
Pass to the advantage of Hawkesby. Vine. Keane. Canadian Keane free her feet for a shot. A deflected one. Most of the sting taken out of it by the late lunge from Rebecca Lake. Edwards with the clearance. Tumbles up to halfway. McLean wiped at by her own teammate Holman. Thankfully, both of them back up on their feet without any damage done. 2 minutes of regulation to go in the first half. You be the coach, T. Pick one or the other. Ante Juric or Paul Temple. What's your halftime message?
Look, I think Sydney are going in on top in this game, so it'll be get your shots on target. That's the message from Sydney. And for Wellington, start switching that ball, hip feet, and in the final third, pick the right decision.
Run that came to little on this occasion from Fraser. Sydney looking to just switch flanks with McLean here. Fenton popping up over on the right. Imagine that's just the product of broken play rather than a positional switch. Might drift back over to the left, the number 5. Barry missed the ball. Just a window of opportunity for Sydney, and Barry quickly goes and closes it once again. It's been ever present. The now games record holder in season 3 for the Wellington Phoenix, Mackenzie Barry. Game number 40 today. Becomes the first Phoenix player to hit that mark. Fitness permitting, will reach 50 games before the end of the season. Courtney Vine hugging the line over on the right. Tries to get the better of Foster, and Foster says, no, you don't. Went for the little blind nutmeg there, and Foster's just happy to clean up. And Foster's been no nonsense. She's always been happy to put the ball out for a throw rather than get too creative attempting to defend Courtney Vine so far in this game.
And given all the work she's getting through today, best to keep it safe.
Case in point right there, just puts it straight back out for a throw.
She's had a lot to deal with in this half, so last thing you want is to muck around with it back there and get punished.
Vine still looms large, though, over this match as the X factor that can create a goal. Hawkesby and Speckmeyer getting back to help out the defence as we tick into 2 minutes of additional time. Chimeth blocked immediately.
Here's that wonderful skill from Courtney Vine, the quick feet, just impossible to contain.
Can Sydney FC put it to Courtney Vine's advantage one more time before the break? She has 2 goals so far this season, and that's after missing a bit of time due to a hamstring injury picked up on international duty. Kruger caught in possession here by Main. Taylor just trying to consolidate the ball. Davidson, a scooped pass, and volunteers it straight back to Sydney. Thompson, bit of an awkward touch there by Kruger. Tumbling out of the way was Fenton, and charging through is Fraser. Can Wellington strike against the run at the end of the first half? Tori Chimeth comes in and shuts it all down. One of the 2 minutes of additional time has ticked by. 22-year-old Tori Chimeth playing it right back at the moment for Sydney FC. And if they're sharp enough, maybe one last phase of attack before the break. Kate Taylor has other ideas, just boots it away. Fenton, early ball. 18 Keane and Rebecca Lake resuming their duel, and Lake finds the safety of the touchline. So Keane starting today at centre forward. Still waiting for a great sighter. He's had 1 blocked shot in this first half. How generous is the referee feeling with stoppage time expired? Fraser. And that'll do. So no goals yet, but not for a lack of trying from both teams. High stakes as far as the ladder is concerned. And Sydney FC, even though they've been on top in terms of possession and territory, mainly thanks to the return of Mackenzie Hawkesby, are yet to break through. And Wellington Phoenix, well, they've had a couple of looks at goals, but for now, it's Sydney FC 0, Wellington Phoenix 0. Teresa Polias, let's take a look at some of the first half highlights.
Well, you said it, Teo. Mackenzie Hawkesby's been involved in everything. She's been on the left, the right. Her chemistry with Courtney Vine's been phenomenal. It's as if she's never left. That was one of her first strikes. We had Fenton steamrolling into the box there and cuts it back for 18 Keane, who's working super hard today with the opportunity she's been given.
And then Princess Sabini here nearly popped up with goal of the year, but just sailed that one over the bar.
That would have been beautiful, but yeah, just put a bit too much on that one, but good decision.
And as the half went on, Courtney Vine and Mackenzie Hawkesby, you mentioned that really no missed beats between the two of them. If they're going to combine, it's for Sydney's sake surely going to work out eventually.
Well, at this rate, it's sure to happen because the quality of their passing together and You know, they're setting each other up in that box. It's been really, really good to watch.
Here is what the numbers say so far. Phoenix did get back on top in terms of possession. 8 total fouls, couple of yellow cards. Of course, one of those is for the coach, Ante Juric. Do the numbers jump out and tell you anything that the Eyes haven't so far?
Look, those total shots definitely stand out from Sydney, and one thing about it is they need to get more on target.
So the second half is going to be an intriguing one. Stay with us. We will be back after this short break. Welcome back to live pictures from Allianz Stadium. Wellington Phoenix, the away team, already back out onto the pitch. Score is currently 0-0 against Sydney FC. These two have never drawn. In fact, would you believe Sydney FC are on a 2-game drawing streak for just the second time in A-League women's history. 15 years of it. Let's take a look at some of the action from the first half. Teresa Polias, you mentioned early doors what a physical game it was, and neither team really let up as the half went on.
No, it got more and more physical, so it was nice to see a bit of spice out there today. I'm sure that'll continue into this half.
Sydney FC picked up just the 1 yellow card in that first half, with Jordan Thompson getting booked. Phoenix yet to run seriously foul. That was perhaps the biggest flashpoint there. Rebecca Lake seemingly late on Princess Ibini, but it actually turns out Lake slid under Ibini, who trod on Lake's ankle. Courtney Vine was less than happy about that foul, which was actually Vine back helping out in defence. Let's take a look at some of the head-to-heads from the first half. We've spoken about Mackenzie Hawkesby's effect and Kate Taylor playing in midfield for the first time this season. T, how do the numbers help your assessment of the duel between those players?
Well, at the moment, given that Mackenzie Hawkesby likes to drift all over the pitch, she's very hard to contain. So Kate Taylor needs to use her experience as a centre-back, her ability to organise, her ability to communicate, to kind of, you know, stop a bit of Hawkesby's attacking prowess here, which she's getting the better of her at the moment, of Kate Taylor. And
safe to say that it will be a tall order for Wellington to win this game, but with the scoreline poised at 0-0, all it takes is a bit of a swing in momentum, and you just never know. Sydney FC had the first half, but did not have the scoreboard, and straight from kickoff at the start of the second, Isabel Cox, the sub, is nearly able to tee up Kate Taylor there, and Jada Wyman holds onto the ball. And interestingly, it's another American, Hope Breslin, that's made way at halftime for the recently arrived Isabel Cox, 23 years old, from the University of North Carolina, to come on and make just her second appearance of the season, and she was involved straight away here.
It's a good substitute there, and straight after the whistle, getting a shot on goal there, or a deflection, I might say. But Wellington Phoenix have quality in their team. They certainly are still in this.
We only got one brief look at Isabel Cox coming off the bench last game. Quite the physical presence. Reminds me a lot already of Hannah Keane from Western United. A potential towering forward presence for this Wellington Phoenix side. At the other end of the height scale, here's Annalie Longo going to work. And as the ball heads down to the corner, it won't find a way out just yet, not with a bit of encouragement at least. And Longo is cleverly able to win the throw. So Phoenix trying to rush Sydney at the start of this second half, trying to break the deadlock and totally change this game. Here's Taylor, and scooped that high and out. The match-winning goal scorer, of course, last time these two teams met back in March.
She was teed up nicely there, although she had 3 Sydney players bearing down on her there and ended up getting way too under the ball.
So a first 2 minutes that will encourage Paul Temple and the Wellington Phoenix. Under the pump, absorbing 19 Sydney shots in that first half. And they have absolutely looked to assert themselves back on the game here at the start of the second. Macy Fraser, part of that. Emma Main here. The right back, Davidson, is camped in the attacking half for now. Ibini, late shove there on Main. Play continues. And it's a big 50-50 there to be won. Barry came out from the centre of defence and was able to deny Courtney Vine the ball. However, Zara Kruger is there for Sydney. Didn't see Speckmeyer coming from the blind side. Phoenix win possession back. Longo. Speckmeyer making a run. The pass is a little skinny though, and it's to the advantage of Jordan Thompson, who just pops it out.
Well, here's that late shove you mentioned there, Teo, and that's a fair shout for a foul. But Beck Mackey's missed that one.
Emma Main didn't spend too long protesting. Princess Ibini, no stranger to playing a defensive winger role at times. And an infringement here means that it will be Sydney FC ball down in their defence.
Phoenix have started this half with a lot of energy.
How long can they sustain it for is the question. We mentioned that it's not a hot day, but it is a humid day in Sydney. Sydney FC taking the chance to just slow things down after a 3-minute rush out of the rooms from the Phoenix at the start of the second half. As Taylor slices the ball out for another throw here. Hawkesby feeds the ball back to McLean. Now Charlotte McLean. A deflected pass. Won't quite find its way to Courtney Vine, but just like the first half, Michaela Foster is not taking any risks defending Courtney Vine. Always happy to concede a throw, it seems. And Tumeth now in two minds about where to hurl the ball. 18 Keane was the answer. Sydney conceding all the way back into their defensive third. Jada Wyman roaming out of the penalty area, trying to switch flanks. It's a shallow clearance though. Isabel Cox, the half-time sub, plays it to Annalie Longo. And now Main over on the right, looks up at two defenders. And one of them, McLean, was enough to stop her in her tracks. Rain falling at Allianz Stadium now. Kruger. Barry. Kruger went leaping at the ball but didn't make contact. Annalie Longo trying to bend a pass, and here's Cox taking on Thompson and got the better of her. Isabel Cox is in behind. The cutback misses Speckmeyer. Who's there to keep the attack going though? Kate Taylor. Well, concedes another 5 metres. Popped in by Foster. Thompson's header. Hawkesby knew where Abini was. Abini trying to get it round the corner. Hawkesby, well, caught in possession by Fraser. However, it's going to sit up for Kirsty Fenton. This next pass is the problem, though, for Sydney at the moment. They can't get out of defence at present. Emma Main. Oh, just catches Speckmeyer breaking the wrong way. Now Courtney Vine. Up towards 18 Keane. Return pass isn't coming. And as the Phoenix settle things down, did Isabel Cox do the right thing, cutting it back rather than shooting on the tight angle? Well,
it was an initially really well-directed ball from Longo, and the tenacity shown by Cox was great. It's exactly what the Phoenix need, but I think she could have taken a shot here. She does well. And she tries to cut it back there, but I think she should have gone for it there, Teo.
You can see the wheels spinning, the decision, and it's those decisions which can be the difference between scoring and not. On that occasion, Cox, really silky touch there, kept the attack moving, and eventually it tumbles off the feet of Taylor down to Jada Wyman. Well, it's been a new Wellington that's come out at the start of the second half, and Isabel Cox has played a big role in that.
She definitely is, and the decision-making in that front third is a lot better at the moment, and that's why they're getting shots away.
Lake's pass here was intercepted by McLean. Now Hawkesby launching from deep. Abini trying to time her run. Main getting back and enough to put Abini off. Not without conceding a foul, not without picking up a card. Emma Main is in the book. Wellington's first player to be yellow carded today.
Look, I've been really impressed with Emma Main's physicality in this game. And yes, there's a slight shove there. I mean, I think the yellow card's pretty harsh.
Is that a get back from earlier in the half? We saw those two come together at the other end of the pitch. And on this occasion, Main is whistled and carded for that shove.
Look, if you're going to get back at someone, I think you're going to put a bit more into it than that, Teo. I just think it was just natural contact there, nothing too much in it.
So corners didn't work out a great deal for Sydney in the first half. Maybe a wide free kick will be more to their liking here in the second. Pack of players congregates at the top of the box. Zara Kruger, the 17-year-old, on free kick duty. Landing at the penalty spot and headed away by Foster. Main, the player who conceded the free kick, now looking to continue a counter-attack. Speckmeyer. Davidson did well to keep the ball in. Bit of late contact coming through from Hawkesby. Fenton switches to Tumeth in space. The Wellington defence is set and ready. Hawkesby trying to break those lines, but puts it too close to Brianna Edwards. So for those of you that may have only turned on at halftime, yes, Mackenzie Hawkesby is back in the Liberty A-League, returning from the WSL, where she was at Brighton and Hove Albion. And Brianna Edwards is in goal today for the Phoenix due to a concussion for Riley Foster. Foster, who made the trip to Sydney with the team, so definitely didn't want to miss out on the team environment, making the away trip, but not past fit to play in the game. Sub coming up here, Sydney's first. Zara Kruger's number is up. The youngster takes her leave after 54 minutes, and Taylor Ray comes on, and, well, game number 48 for the 22-year-old. We're still waiting for Taylor Ray to break back into the starting 11. Maybe a match-winning performance today will be enough to force Ante Juric's hand.
Look, it's great to see Taylor Ray out there. I am a little bit baffled as to why she's not getting more minutes, or starting, in fact, but she's out there now. She'll make the most of it. She's a mature player, experienced, and she'll certainly give them a bit of calmness and stability out there.
So almost 10 minutes of the second half ticked by. Lake confident with the run, but the pass wasn't able to match. Ray dispossessed. Cox leaves the ball with Longo. Wellington looking to advance. Longo plays it central, where Wellington have got some numbers. Macy Fraser now feeds it back into traffic. Main, and now Sydney FC through Tumeth able to clear. Here's Kate Taylor. Speckmeyer, good first touch, but then was wrapped up by Tumeth and dispossessed. Possession count skewing back in Wellington's favour. The first half started like this, though, Teresa, and then it balanced out as the half went on.
It did, Teo, and once Sydney stamped their authority on the game, the tides turned dramatically. But so far, Wellington maintaining their energy.
Fenton ran into trouble in the form of Fraser. Main was there to help out, and Fenton will be doing well to avoid a card here. Beck Mackey reaches for the pocket. So a card each in the second half, and Sydney's second player in the book today is Kirsty Fenton. Not for that collision, but for that grab there on Main as she tried to escape.
Yeah, it's just too obvious there from Fenton, not getting away with that one.
Well, she's never been sent off in what is now a 36-game A-League women's career, Kirsty Fenton. So her and Jordan Thompson now in that Sydney FC defence. We'll have to watch their step for the remainder of the game, as Fenton immediately wins a header and tries to launch a Sydney FC counter-attack. Here's Hawkesby. A few gaps opening up here. Keane, Hawkesby, Taylor Ray making space on the right. Hawkesby shot straight into the feet of Mackenzie Barry.
Well, we saw this in the first half. As soon as Sydney started transitioning forward, that's when they built their confidence and really started to dominate the game.
Here's Vine and Hawkesby now. Switches over to the left for Princess Abini, and too close to the keeper. And at halftime, we were going back through the records, Teresa. Courtney Vine is the only player to have scored a goal for Sydney FC in the last month, and she's only scored 2. So they've dried up to an extent.
They have, and it's a little bit of a concern given that they're creating a lot. It's just they're not able to finish their chances at the moment. So it's something they definitely need to look into and fix up.
Vine advancing here. Could she provide the magic? Lake was able to get a boot in at the vital time. Taylor Ray leaping for the ball and winning a foul. And Annalie Longo protesting in earnest. The Phoenix captain can't believe it's a free kick. Right on the edge of shooting territory. Of course, for those of you with long memories, Longo was a former Sydney FC player. Let's take a look at these incidents here, Teresa.
Well, here's Courtney Vine's run. And the foul on Taylor Ray, I think the issue with that is that Taylor Ray was in the air, so it's quite dangerous.
Longo spent 2012 and 13 at Sydney FC. Here is a Beanie with the free kick, and it's harmlessly curved into the gloves of Brianna Edwards, who is able to take the sting out of the shot and then hold on at ground level.
It's great to see Longo, former teammate, still out there. Definitely enjoyed playing with her.
Well, since her time at Sydney FC, she's played against them now 6 times since. Still yet to find the back of the net against them, and the majority of those appearances were with Melbourne Victory. Wellington, her 3rd A-League women's club over the journey. And here she is on the ball right now, trying to create. Longo cleverly around Thompson, who again has to be careful on a card. And Shea Holman comes in to help out and wins the ball cleanly away. Then gets caught by Macy Fraser. Nothing is easy out there at the moment. And even one nice little moment like that for Holman immediately met with a new challenge as she tried to break out of defence.
It's great to see. It's been a very entertaining match, and still at this point can go either way.
Well, we've had 15 minutes of the second half, and the Phoenix have restored quite a bit of competitive balance back to the game, which was starting to veer Sydney FC's way at the end of the first half. The question is, will Sydney again take the ascendancy in the final half hour, or will Paul Temple and the Phoenix players, maybe Mania Elliott there just appearing in the background on the bench, have a say in turning it in Phoenix's favour?
Well, they would have been really happy to go in at the break 0-0 after the dominance Sydney showed.
Here's the burst of acceleration from Vine, deflected away by Barry. Fraser, bit of a tentative first touch. Foster is just going to kick for distance and find the safety of the touchline.
And it's obvious that Paul Temple's instructions have gotten across to his players. They've come out, they're executing what he probably would have said, and if they can maintain that, they'll be in with a chance away from home.
Well, the question is, who will Mania Elliott be coming on for at the next break in play? Oh, bit of a wasted opportunity there. Isabel Cox just apologises for running out of space against the line. Seemingly was away there, the American, not to be. And so it is going to be Emma Main who comes off for Mania Elliott. And so after 61 minutes, Main heads to the sidelines, and 18-year-old Elliott on for her 10th appearance of the season. She scored in Sydney once already this campaign, away to the Western Sydney Wanderers back in October. So she'll be hoping to get a repeat effort here against the team in sky blue. Barry steps out of trouble. Longo being chased by Hawkesby. Mackenzie Hawkesby's hunting the ball. There's a one-woman press there. And then Davidson not happy with that pass, which slides out. Keane with the attempted flick header on. Davidson's down, and play's going to be whistled dead here because I think, oh dear, it is a bad blow to the nose for Hayley Davidson. Hopefully not a broken nose. Clash of heads there, and she is bleeding as a result. Trainer out immediately here. Bit of moral support from the teammates as well. Now the doctor can go to work. And this is not nice, Teresa. Never nice when there's a clash of heads.
No, definitely not. And she appears to be in a bit of pain there after that clash. You never want to see these kinds of incidents in a game, but sometimes they do happen.
So it was 18 Keane here who tried for the flick header on, and only really, well, some of that's the ball, some of that's 18 Keane. Let's have a closer look. Yeah, it's the back of 18 Keane's head that has absolutely wiped out Hayley Davidson here.
It'd be very painful, that one. Completely unintentional, but extremely painful when you're on the receiving end of those ones.
The assessment here, if it's a broken nose, she might have to come off, but if it's just a blood nose, they might patch her up and she'll be able to continue on. And looking at the Wellington Phoenix bench, Zoe McMeekin would be the most likely player-for-player swap, who has played on both sides at fullback over the last couple of seasons. I think Paul Temple's just waiting for word from the trainers that Davidson's okay to continue, though. Doesn't seem particularly keen. There's McMeekin in the background, just limbering up in case she's needed.
Given the time it's taken to treat her, you'd think they're trying to patch it up. If it was a break, surely they'd make that early call and substitute her.
Davidson, the 23-year-old American who was playing in Sweden briefly for Malbacken, and has a bit of a World Cup connection. When she was at Pitt, she actually played for Randy Waldrum, who was, of course, the Nigeria coach that was able to get the win against Australia in the group stage at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Well, they're just trying to stem the bleeding here. Macy Fraser there in offering support to Hayley Davidson. I think the referee's on the scene here, just trying to move this treatment to the sidelines. Of course, don't forget Unite round. You will see every Liberty A-League and Isuzu Ute A-League team play across the 3 stadiums in Sydney from January 12 to 14. And for a limited time, 10% discount on a family ticket that admits 4, including double headers, from $36, and 3-day passes from $180. To redeem, use the code FAMILYUNITE. Tickets at Ticketek. And hurry, that special ends at 11:59 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on January the 1st. T, I can't wait for Unite round. We're going to have a lot of fun with a lot of games. And of course, unlike Gather Round or Magic Round, you get the A-League men's and the A-League women's. And that's what makes it unique and special in the sporting landscape.
It's going to be great, Teo. Can't wait for it, and hopefully starts a long-lasting tradition in our game.
So play back underway with Wellington Phoenix a player down due to the Davidson injury. Courtney Vine trying to capitalise, deflected almost into the path of Keane. And Mania Elliott, the most recent sub, who appears to have slotted in at right back for now, is able to clear the lines. Tori Tumeth. And they won't mind the Phoenix, this ball ending up in the gloves of Brianna Edwards.
We've had a significant break in play now, and it's always interesting to see how teams respond after that. Will this change the dynamic of this game?
Here's another look at how Courtney Vine was in space, was able to fire the shot, but on a very tight angle. And her shadow for the day, Michaela Foster, was able to make a block on it. Here's Taylor in midfield. Mariana Speckmeyer. Sydney FC dominating the shot count and the shots on target count now. Vine through the right channel. And Nadine Keane trying to make a go of competing for the ball. Still has a throw in, taken quickly. Vine, heavy first touch. And Phoenix clear their lines. And now the Phoenix have decided that Hayley Davidson can't continue. And so they do make the sub. Zoe McMeekin comes on. And I guess it's watch this space on Hayley Davidson. Hopefully it's not a broken nose. But as we can see here, treatment continues on the sidelines. And, well, a distressing little moment for her, given the just the amount of blood that was having to be cleaned up.
Yeah, I think they struggled to contain the bleeding a bit there. So good option. Safety first.
McMeekin comes on. Forced change for Wellington. Sydney FC still on the attack. Will that swing the momentum, that break in play? I mean, we'd made a point of mentioning how Wellington were right back in this contest for the first 15 minutes of the second half. Can they re-engage with the game here? Tori Tumeth playing the ball back to Charlotte McLean. Jordan Thompson now bringing the ball out of defence for Sydney FC. Really dared Isabel Cox to come in and challenge, and that affected the pass. in the end, but Sydney will get it back through Shea Holman.
I'm not too sure if she caught any of the ball there, Cox, but Beck Mackey, let's play continue.
Vine. Now Holman. Princessa Beanie. Fenton makes the run up from left back, and it just attracted a couple of defenders to open some space. And then Mackenzie Hawkesby couldn't feed it through to 18 Keane. At the edge of the box, Princessa Beanie. Cleared away by Elliott of the Phoenix. Cox back to goal, working as that centre forward. Ball out for a throw. And then a couple of players go slip sliding into the soft advertising boards that protect the technical area. Here's another look at the thrills and spills. Well, again, Jordan Thompson's on a yellow card. She cannot go throwing herself in like that too readily in the last 20 minutes of this game.
I don't think she expected to get taken by the momentum of the pitch as she did there.
So Zoe McMeekin, the most recent sub to enter the game. Still only 19 years old, but part of the Phoenix Originals that spent that season away from home in Wollongong a couple of campaigns ago. And here's McMeekin now. Fraser, good strength to hold off Holman there. Barry. Mackenzie Barry looking for a pass, but just opts to go short for Foster. And now Foster trying to probe through the left channel, and it's cleared away by Charlotte McLean. McLean, who has to deal with the much taller Isabel Cox here. Can the Phoenix put it in the air for her? As we mentioned, they have scored 5 of their 15 goals this season from headers, Wellington. Isabel Cox is yet to be a part of that. It's only her second appearance since arriving from the States. Throw here, and she's outpointed by the much shorter Taylor Ray. It's one thing to be tall, Teeve. It's another to be in the right position.
It is, and timing is also everything, Teo, and execution. So there's a lot of factors involved in actually getting it right.
Princessa Beanie now running straight into a trap that was players closing in from left and right. One of them, McMeekin, plays it to Cox. Thompson went to ground, got the ball. McMeekin back to Fraser. Everything slows down though for the Phoenix. Cox tries to thread Elliott through the right flank, and Kirsty Fenton just knocks it out for a throw. Wellington Phoenix with the throw in now down in their attack, and the whistle goes because it looks as though we're going to have more activity on the sidelines here. And it is Janaya Dos Santos coming on for 18 Keane, and this is a big moment for Janaya Dos Santos. We've been introduced to her younger sister Indiana, but Janaya has been waiting since round 1 of last season to make just her second appearance in the A-League Women's, and it's worth remembering that she's only 18 herself. So even though younger sister Indy is 16, there she is on the bench, Indiana Dos Santos. Older sister is back out there getting just her second chance to play in the Liberty A-League.
Another good opportunity for another player to go out there and show what they've got. Try and keep their spot in the match day squad.
And of course, even though she's had a lack of game time for Sydney FC, Janaya Dos Santos has been a regular in Leah Blaney's Australian under-20 young Matildas setup, so every minute she gets at A-League level will be vital as she presses her case to try and go to the under-20 Asian Cup in March of next year. Here's Princessa Beanie now. Dos Santos took the sting out of that pass and set up Hawkesby. Crunching challenge coming in from the side. That's one way to defend Mackenzie Hawkesby. It was brilliantly done by McMeekin. And now the Phoenix are away through Annalie Longo. A couple of players ahead of the ball for Longo, but at the moment is not able to get the better of Taylor Ray. Refused to be beaten out there on the wing, Taylor Ray, and puts the ball out for a throw.
It's great defending from Taylor Ray. She didn't dive in. Here's that challenge on Mackenzie Hawkesby. What a crunching challenge from McMeekin.
So the Phoenix again have the territory. Can Michaela Foster execute a long throw on a wet, slippery day? Hurls the ball in the direction of Cox, tries for the flick header on, and Thompson is able to clear. Mackenzie Barry committed to the ball, but had Lake there for cover. Longo on the spin, and it was neither a pass nor a shot in the end. Easily collected by Jada Wyman. Wellington still in charge of possession as the game wears on. Who is going to provide the inspiration here to break through and score a goal? A draw would put Wellington back to second ahead of the rest of the weekend as McMeekin goes tumbling out of the arena. Melbourne City, though, would be 6 points clear on top of the table with 23 from Wellington on 17 as we see McMeekin again. Thankfully, those hoardings are soft and can break the fall. Sydney FC would be 6th on 12 points with 2 games in hand. But every time they drop points, it goes from those 2 games in hand being rejoining the title race to simply being part of the top 6 race. And I guess when you've got the high standards of Sydney FC, you expect to win the title.
Definitely, Teo. They wouldn't expect anything less than going for the 2 titles again this season.
Of course, one of the teams to have beaten them this year, Melbourne City, sit top of the league. The other team to have beaten them this season, Brisbane Roar, haven't won since. Here's Charlotte McLean. Courtney Vine attracting a crowd wherever she goes, but still able to win a pass. Wellington come back in and take over through Fraser. McMeekin to Taylor. And then the diagonal ball, not really to the advantage of Speckmeyer, and will eventually find its way over the line for a goal kick.
The game's really opened up here, and at this stage in the game, the fatigue has set in, so it's going to take maybe some individual brilliance at this point to get on the score sheet, to make something happen.
See the passing accuracy there. Well, sometimes a game can be decided by a moment of brilliance, sometimes by a mistake. You just hope for the individual players' sake that it is a moment of brilliance out there that provides the difference between the teams. It might be coming right here. Mania Elliott dispossessed by McLean. Fraser. Phoenix still building. Speckmeyer twisting and turning, and then Fenton got goal side. Speckmeyer able to win the ball back, though. You see Fenton, who's on a yellow card, defending very carefully and defending very well. Taylor Ray breaking into open field. Pops the ball over the top to Courtney Vine. And this is textbook Courtney Vine. Round the goalkeeper. Can she finish on the tight angle? Side netting only. Side netting only.
Well, that was the ball from Taylor Ray. Fenton does well here to keep possession and tee Ray up for a perfectly placed ball in behind for Courtney Vine. She takes a great touch, mind you, and Brie Edwards comes out and she actually does enough to send her wide enough and allow her centre backs to retreat.
Well, thrilling end-to-end football, and capable Courtney Vine. And we know that the right footer shooting from that tight angle, she's done it plenty of times before, being able to score on that sort of an acute angle, but this time high speed, slippery day, just not able to twist it inside the post.
That's right, and perhaps a bit of fatigue as well.
Cross comes in here, and the header is in! It's Janea dos Santos! Just her second appearance for Sydney FC! And she scores her first Liberty A-League goal at what could be a vital time! An outpouring of emotion for the 18-year-old. It's Sydney 1, Wellington 0.
Well, it's a dream return for Dos Santos. It's Taylor Ray with a nicely weighted ball in, and Dos Santos gets between two defenders here and finishes it beautifully.
Well, last season's grand final was the story of younger sister. Today, older sister gets her moment. Janaea Dos Santos, what a brilliantly executed header. Still plenty of time left for the Phoenix, but this game needed a goal, and how has it arrived?
Well, there's that individual brilliance we were talking about, and Dos Santos put her hand up to deliver it.
And the two subs combining, but will this simply spur the Phoenix to respond? What a day for Wollongong and the South Coast, by the way. Mackenzie Hawkesby comes back with a bang. Now Janaea Dos Santos scores the first goal of the game. The Illawarra Mercury, save your front page, because it's all happening.
They're loving this.
First A-League women's goal in just her second appearance too, and she would have been waiting and waiting ever since round one of last season, just to get back on the bench, just to get back on the pitch. And young Matilda's duty did play a role in her being unavailable for some of that, but it's a tough squad to get into, especially when you're winning most weeks.
It is, and that says a lot about her character as well.
Cox now, great step around, and the shot's on, and Jada Wyman makes the save. Phoenix have come to life, and they do have a response in them. Speckmeyer now, good defensive header away. Can they keep the intensity up, the Phoenix, as we tick towards the final 10 minutes? Everything settles down. Sydney defence resets.
Even though she's such a young player, her willingness to continue to work hard and not lose patience and wait for her opportunity again, it's paid off for Janaea Dos Santos.
The ball is cleared. We've seen Phoenix in this possession plenty of times. Let's have another look at Cox here. Neat step around T, and Jada Wyman equal to the shot.
Yeah, that was great agility there shown, and good shot at that, but Jada Wyman steps up as well.
Aerial duels in the penalty area. Sydney FC clearing initially, but Kate Taylor put a foot on the ball. Now Hawkesby veering away from Elliott. Counter-attack might be on. Hawkesby threading it through for Princess Ibini. The crowd's found their voice here at Allianz. Ibini at the edge of the box, blocked away. Ricochet off Hawkesby. Courtney Vine still chasing. Attack still going. Twists it back. Hawkesby went for a bender and then has just caught a stray in the face here. She's down on her haunches, and the referee's going to whistle play dead. Not sure if that was opponent or the ball there that ended up catching Mackenzie Hawkesby. And so we have another look here. Oh, just been the arm of Mackenzie Barry. No, the ball.
No,
it was
definitely
the ball.
there. Ouch. Point blank.
So, thankfully, unlike Hayley Davidson, no blood's been drawn. Teresa, I was there when you scored your first W League goal. Do you remember it?
Of course I remember it. I only waited 10 years for it.
So, wouldn't you have loved to have scored your first goal when you were 15 like younger sister or 18 like older sister?
I definitely would have opted for that, but things didn't really go that way for me, Taya. I had lots of goal scorers in front of me to give the ball to.
That all-in team celebration, and they knew how important that was.
Absolutely.
It's a special moment, isn't it?
It's written all over their faces and in their body language there. They really needed that one, and they really need to hold this out or go for more. Look at that stat, 31 shots to 6. So the conversion rate's not great, but it only takes one goal to win a game, so they'll be happy for that.
And yeah, look at Paul Temple's body language. He is still confident. He is still urging his team. The Wellington Phoenix, they've impressed so many this season. An equaliser today would really show what they're made of if they can find a way to score. Rebecca Lake. That pass is intercepted by Kirsty Fenton. Cox coming back to help out and spilled the ball. It's there to be won. Annalie Longo. Now Mackenzie Barry. McMeekin. And Speckmeyer, well, maybe just too clever by half there. Went for the little back heel chop step, but ran out of room against the sideline.
They're definitely still in this match. Certainly their home form, they don't find it hard to win at home. Most of their wins have been at home. So they're away wins that they want to brush up on and get a few more of.
And of course, last time they went away from home, it was a bit of a surprise loss to Adelaide. Adelaide's first win of the season, 2-1. Paul Temple, you just see there the frustration starting to build. Prior to that, they lost 1-0 away on the Central Coast. Prior to that was the 3-0 win away against Western Sydney Wanderers. So yeah, the home form is more convincing than the road form for Wellington, but they've got plenty of time to get back into this game. As far as this affects the live table, Perth will be happy. They are back in second for now. Phoenix dropped back to third, and Sydney FC, they would be climbing up to 5th place. 9 points behind Melbourne City on top, albeit with 2 games in hand, and those games in hand are against Central Coast and Canberra United. Right now, though, the priority is the remaining 5.5 minutes plus stoppage. How will Sydney manage the game? Can Wellington Phoenix throw everything at getting back in this contest? Lake. Well, Rebecca Lake's defending has been good today, but the passing at times has been a little iffy. Phoenix need to, with this new look centre-back pairing, just have to work out who their main distributor is coming out from the back team.
That's right, at times they just lack that bit of quality in their distribution.
Suits Sydney just fine to have a start-stop game from here. Phoenix want to get a bit of momentum up, bring a bit of flow back to their passing. Physical duel here between Fenton and Speckmeyer, and again Fenton is on a card, but it appears to be just a free kick, nothing more. Bit of chat in the aftermath. Of course, Speckmeyer's had her own run-ins at times during the season. You think back to that Central Coast game where her and Jasmine Wardlow had a collision off the ball.
She definitely came in on her there, so Speckmeyer felt that
potential
contact.
Chaos in the box here. Fraser shot right back into the traffic. There's a huge pack of players around the ball. McMeekin trying to give Longo a bit of space to work in. Fenton right there for company. Longo, he's got plenty in the box, but can she fashion the right cross? Here's McMeekin, all about the delivery from McMeekin, in at the near post, tangle of legs, and the ball is cleared away. Phoenix quick to look to the referee. It was Rebecca Lake who'd got forward, the centre-back. Jordan Thompson able to repel.
There are a few shouts there from the Phoenix fans for a penalty.
Fenton over the shoulder with the clearance and bouncing to the line.
Here's that ball in from McMeekin, and no, I think just the momentum of Lake. She was already falling backwards. Yeah. No penalty.
Hard to see a foul in there, just a collision. Phoenix reload. Can they go again? Mania Elliott can't find a way through. Just 3 minutes of regulation to go. Elliott can't quite execute the 1-2 with Taylor. Courtney Vine is there. Taylor has to tackle the ball out, and every time it's Sydney ball, it will slow down to a walk. Courtney Vine on her haunches here. Stanley a minor knock of feet, and Alyssa Wynnum is not being given a huge amount of time to help chase this game here. She's going to come on for Rebecca Lake. So defender replaced by midfielder, and this is Wellington Phoenix making a go of it. Have they left themselves enough time? We will get a bit of stoppage, of course, due to the face injury to Hayley Davidson. You see Davidson there on the bench still trying to stem the bleeding out of that nose. Lake comes off, and Alyssa Wynnum is a creator. She's only got a couple of minutes to work with. Fraser Allowed the ball to run on. Cox, loose first touch. Longo will follow up here for the Phoenix. Fraser's down in the meantime. Phoenix don't want to stop though. They've got possession. And look at that great midfield work there from Taylor Ray to win the ball, but then gave it straight back with the pass. Longo gets another chance. Wynnum straight off the bench. Cox. And now the follow-up is held on to Longo charging through, but it wasn't on target as Jada Wyman dived onto the ball.
Just wasn't enough on that shot from Longo to trouble Jada Wyman in any way, but fortunate to even have the ball spill out to her there.
Oh, Alyssa Wynnum having an effect off the bench immediately. Here's Cox, head check on for who's on in the middle. Speckmeyer misses the header. That was the chance. And Mariana Speckmeyer knows that is as good a chance as Phoenix have had for 1-1.
She knows. That was probably the best chance of the game. Cox does brilliantly to cross that to perfection. And all Speckmeyer had to do was head that down into the goal, into pretty much an open goal.
Oh, there's a cruel irony to it. We did mention earlier the Phoenix lead the league. 5 of their 15 goals from headers. That should have been 6 of 16. They still have stoppage time to go. They are not done yet. Isabel Cox is causing headaches for this Sydney defence. And the ball is cleared to safety. How many minutes of stoppage though? As Paul Temple watches on as his team chase the game in earnest. 6 minutes, plenty of time for Wellington.
Plenty of time here.
Fraser at the edge of the box. Has Hawkesby and Abini to deal with. McMeekin. Well, that would have been a surprise. Straight into the gloves of Jada Wyman and Zoe McMeekin. Game 25 today. Never scored in the A-League Women's. That would have been a perfect time for number 1. Speckmeyer just trying to wipe the memory of that chance a moment ago and keep attacking. Has goals this season against Wanderers, Brisbane and Newcastle. Mariana Speckmeyer, the American born and raised Venezuelan international. That should have been a 4th team notched off though. Beck Mackey just getting on top of players here to make sure they're not time wasting. 1 of 6 additional minutes has ticked by. Princess Abini, a second goal would make it a moot point, you'd think. Abini with a second burst. Vine attacking the near post. The cross comes. Vine's in the vicinity, but it's cleared away by Foster. Speckmeyer to Longo. Twisting and turning. Alyssa Wynnum. Can she find the right pass here? Wynnum. Taylor Ray intercepted, but look at Mackenzie Barry. Willed herself onto the ball. Mania Elliott not going to be able to chase it down. Of course, don't forget the final series this season. Top 6. Elimination finals between teams 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 2-legged semi-finals for teams 1 and 2, and then the 2 elimination final winners. Tell you what, you'd love to see a second leg of this over in Wellington next weekend, Teresa. It feels like there is so much more to the story.
There really is, Teo, and it's been a really entertaining match and still not over.
And this is a nice little moment because as Courtney Vine comes off, this will be the first time the Dos Santos sisters have been on the pitch in an A-League women's game for the first time, as 16-year-old Indiana Dos Santos is subbed on.
Very special moment for the sisters, and let's see what chemistry they have out there. I'm sure they'll be combining well.
Of course, there have been some great sister acts in the league over the journey. We've got the Toronto twins at Western United at the moment. I always think of Ashley and Nicole Sykes at Canberra United. Ashley, who of course went on to become a Matilda as well.
Yeah, some great siblings pairings out there. The Karma sisters, of course.
Yep, Sham Karma's still going strong in the league. Here's a booking for time wasting for Tori Chimeth. Half of stoppage time has expired, so It might just be the cost of doing business for Tori Chimeth to eat that yellow card. Sydney have got possession. They've got it in their attacking half. Phoenix trying to win the ball back. Here's Annalie Longo. Can they create? They've had one great opportunity chasing the game. Is there one more in them? McMeekin, Longo, Speckmeyer, out on the wing. The cross is deflected and Thompson is able to clear. An equaliser now could shape the top six and could prove so important at the end of the season. Could be decisive to making finals. It could be decisive to home finals. Could even be decisive to the title. Cox. A pot shot! And Jada Wyman went flying but did not touch the ball. It's a goal kick. And Isabel Cox, I feel as though once she is up to speed and starting, she is going to prove a revelation.
She's been great since she came on at the half and does well in a small space there to get a quick shot away. It dipped though, although a little too late there.
Gee, not much backlift, and that ground level replay showed what her perspective would have been as that ball just agonisingly kept rising. Wynnum spinning on the ball, making opponents disappear, and then gets into a bit of a battle and Princess Abeni prevails. Fraser wins the ball back. Is this Wellington's chance? Macy Fraser drops the shoulder, shot it straight at the keeper. And she knows what a good chance that was, but the finish just wasn't there. Well, Macy Fraser has had 3 or 4 long-range attempts in this game. Jada Wyman's been equal to all of them.
She has. She's been outstanding, Jada Wyman. Here's Fraser's attempt here, and yeah, it was just too close to Wyman. She had it covered.
That takes us into the last minute. Phoenix will feel as though they have given a good account of themselves here, but they want a goal to show for it. It would say so much about where they're at as potential contenders. Cox misses Elliott in the penalty area, just a little behind her. And now, as the ball runs out on the right, Indy Dos Santos fouled, free kick, yellow card. And Mania Elliott goes in the book as one last act here, and that will take the game to the end of stoppage time.
Well, that is such smart play from the youngster. She's drawn that foul in, make no mistake, that was completely intentional and clever play there from Indiana Dos Santos.
Stoppage time is up. Sydney have got a free kick. They're just going to drive it down as far as they can. Hawkesby, what a return to the Liberty A-League it's been for her. Longo, whistles in the mouth. Statement made from Sydney. Wellington threw everything at this one late. But ultimately, it's the sister act. And it's older sister, Janaya Dos Santos, who gets her moment. A first Liberty A-League goal. And for the first time, we've seen these two promising players on the pitch at the same time. But today, it's the 18-year-old who grabbed the match-winning goal. And Sydney FC, for all their knocking on the door, eventually broke through. And for the Wellington Phoenix, they will go away feeling as though they are a match for this Sydney team. They just weren't able to manifest it on the scoreboard, which reads Sydney FC 1, Wellington Phoenix 0. And so the congratulations come for Janaya Dos Santos. As we mentioned, just her second appearance in the Liberty A-League, and it was a very well taken header, and the congratulations are coming her way. Great moment with the coach, Teresa Polias. Let's take a look at the match highlights.
Well, from her first half here, Mackenzie Hawkesby, she was running riot in that first half and got a good shot away here from a tight angle. And once she got a few of those attempts, her confidence just grew and grew and grew. This time it was Fenton with a burst into the box, and she cut it back beautifully for Aiden Keane. But it was really, really well blocked there.
And then as the half went on, Courtney Vine trying to be the outlet. Mackenzie Hawkesby was linking up pretty well.
And not the first time those two linked up. with great chemistry. This was a great ball in behind from Taylor Ray, and Wellington did well to retreat and tighten up that angle, making the finish really hard for Courtney Vine here.
That looked like it might have been the moment for Courtney Vine. Game was 0-0 until late, and then Taylor Ray combining with another of the subs, Janea dos Santos, burying the header.
I mean, what a cross here from Taylor Ray. Perfectly weighted, and Dos Santos does really well to just get between those defenders and guide that ball into the goal. Fantastic.
Phoenix came back with a vengeance, and they really went for it in the last 10 minutes in stoppage, trying to find an equaliser. But Jada Wyman was equal to most of it, and then when the one chance came, Mariana Speckmeyer, well, she'll be thinking about that missed opportunity.
Look, the Wellington Phoenix came out in that second half a different team. They were fantastic, and this golden opportunity here, though, they'll really be kicking themselves and feel that they should have got something from this game.
And Isabel Cox, watch this space. I feel as though she might prove a vital player in the second half of the season for Wellington. I mean, all of these chances were coming in the final stages, and Macy Fraser even had one last go at it right at the end of stoppage time.
That final chance was another more than half chance. That was a great opportunity there, but Jada Wyman up to the task.
So when we look at the shot count, look at that. 47 total shots in the game, Teresa, and what else do the numbers tell you?
Look, yeah, lots of shots, meaning it was end-to-end. It was an open game, especially the last part of that second half. But Sydney FC, I think the worthy winners with 33 shots, 15 on target, and 1 goal to show for it. That's all that matters, isn't it, Teo, in the end?
And sometimes a 1-0 can provide you sensational entertainment. 5-3 yesterday, 1-0 tonight. We leave you with pictures of Sydney FC celebrating. On behalf of Teresa Polias and the entire crew, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Enjoy the rest of round 10 of the Liberty A-League. We'll be back tomorrow.